love beautiful things, and my house is like a museum. I collect a lot of beautiful cups and painting and all that one. And sometimes my children, Nico, is in the tour board, and that Lisa Tisdale's butler, that lady, life has a loveliness to sell.
Oh yes, Margaret.
She commits suicide, right? Right, and then when you find out something like, she wrote a beautiful poem, and then Nico find out that she goes through the internet. She passed away. She committed suicide, and something like that one, something that she could write a beautiful poem, and her life ended up like that. Or the poem like Matilda, like because she was turning out blind, so her house and she was blind, but nobody would, So and then I'm stuck with that first picture that I saw. I feel kind of some sort of sad emotion looking at the first picture. I don't know how everybody feels. So when my children feel something, or why that, or some sort of sad emotion, I'm gonna have to teach my children, like when she, memorize the poem of the Tisdale butler, and then she found out, she passed away, she committed suicide. And I'm going to have to teach my children that, okay, you're going to have to live this way. She may wrote a beautiful poem, but she didn't like that. But, like you can live with a positive way, and you're going to have to teach children, how to live strongly and things like that. So how do you, some children engage so much to some sort of, poem or art and something like that one. So how do you teach the children that how to live in a positive way, or you understand?
May I answer that?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is something one thing I often do with the students is I show drastic contrasts in art that show very different themes. So, for example, this is one painting I showed. How are we doing on time, by the way? How much time do I have?
You're way over.
I have a class at... what time is it? Okay, I've got time. I've got time.
If anyone needs to leave, we won't take it personally.
I've showed this painting, I think, to most of the classes. And you get the lights, because having the lights off will definitely help seeing this one better. So just a quick look at this painting. You see a man in simple garb, long cape, very muscular, old, eyes closed. He's actually blind, but striding forward confidently. And on his shoulder, he carries a young child, and it's hard to see, but there is a snake around the ankle of the child. He's been bitten. This man, we learn later on in history, they learned from Mr. Lewis, and also from a poem that Room 201 did. This man is named Belisarius, and he was a great Byzantine general who was rewarded by his emperor with banishment and being blinded and reduced to beggary. The man on the right is also Belisarius. But if we take a close look at this one, we see a mouth parted. We see a head tilted to the side. We see a look of despair and agony in the furrowed brow. And then his shoulders that are just slumping and his neck forward. Contrast to him. Strong neck cords, the lifted chin, the firm mouth. And we notice that these are both the same moments of the story. Not while he's a great general conquering, but after he's been unjustly reduced to beggary. But we see this difference. And what we see is an illustration of two different attitudes to suffering and injustice. And I'm not explicitly teaching them, this is how you should be if something bad happens to you. But the contrast, just having that, is information they can use. They know he's been through hard times. This one doesn't look like it's facing him, and he strides forward, keeps going forward. This one looks like he's giving up.
I'd like to address that quickly too. I think it's really important to, this is a conclusion I've come to as a parent, and I think this would be true in my role as an educator, that it is not my role with my children to protect them from the fact of pain. They will experience pain. They will witness pain. They will witness tragedy. My job is to help them to cultivate the best life possible for themselves and to have the tools to address and deal with those things when they find them. And this specific issue came up with my children. My daughter Greta is very, very sensitive, extremely sensitive. One day we went to a piano recital and someone was singing Castle on a Cloud from Les Miserables. And they said, what's going on in that song? Tell me the story. So they were riding in the back of the car, and I started telling them the story of Fantine, which, for those of you who know the story, is the most painfully tragic story I think I've encountered in literature. And I just briefly summarized the story for them, and then I looked back, and Greta was sobbing from this 2-minute version of the story that I told her. And I at first thought, should I have told her that story? And then she was haunted by it the rest of the day, and later said to me, Mom, why would he write that story? It just, to her it was, why would anybody tell a story like that? And I told her, the title of this book is Les Miserables. What Victor Hugo was trying to do was demonstrate the plight of the lower classes in France at that time. What more powerful way to demonstrate it than a story like that? He made his point. He made it vividly. He made it beautifully. He made it in a painful way that I'll never forget. And it's an important point. So I'm sorry that she had to experience, in a sense, I'm sorry she had to experience that pain. But at the same time, I do not try to, in choosing literature, I try to give the kids plenty of inspirational and positive and life-directing sorts of things. But this is something they need to be exposed to too. And in a sense, there's a positive moral lesson to be drawn from that. But they have to experience sorrow and pain to learn positive lessons too.